Good morning, Gambia. Good morning, listeners or viewers. This is Suleiman Sware, and I'm on Facebook Live. Happy New Year to you all. I will try and keep this in English for the benefit of others that might not able to understand Wolof. And because the information I'm about to share is very important, and I think it's just fair to put it in English that all of us can understand. I think that's the right way to go with this video. I would, first of all, clarify certain points taking on the dictatorship propaganda. Just to point out to people that the dictatorship does the propaganda in many ways. And the dictatorship speaks through different people. Some of these people are speaking on behalf of the dictatorship without knowing that they're speaking on behalf of the dictatorship. They've been tricked to say certain things or to bring out certain news which are only beneficial to the dictator. But we have other people among us that will come out as independent people or and talk on behalf of the dictator. And the others are openly and honestly standing up, and they have been identified, or they identify themselves as APRC, or whatever you call them, or government officers that talk on behalf of the dictator. These are the three kind of people we have among us right now. You either with the dictator, or you're not, you're against the dictator. You're either with us or without us. My first point is, there's a circulation of rumors going on about the security forces in the Gambia. I'm just appealing for us to be very, very, very mindful of some of these stories. And I cannot claim to be the custodian of the truth or the whole truth, but I just want us to be cautious. And I know that these informations are coming from Banjul. I know these informations are coming from the heart of the dictatorship. But if we're careful, we might see a pattern with this information. We might see a pattern with these rumors going around. That's why we got to be very careful when we bring out these stories. And because of the reason is, some of these stories are very positive, to us, and that's what, some of us want to hear. We just want to hear good things or positive information. Yes, might be positive to hear, but, they might be used as a deception to catch us on guard. That's why I would point out those informations. And the reason I'm clarifying is I don't want people to think that I am calling the people that put it out there liars or inefficient or anything else. It's just a caution. They might be true, they might be right, but I have my doubts. But it's a matter of time and history that might judge us right at times. But my reason of pointing them out and having my doubts, I will put it out there, and it's up to us to have a look at it and see what is plausible. For now, we have to go through plausibility. Most of the people we trust or we talk to, they might not be trustworthy, but we don't have a choice. They're the people on the ground. And some of them, another point is some of the people even telling us, it's not that they are not trustworthy. Probably they themselves have been deceived. Remember, when the dictatorship plots, he plots with few people around him. Yes, and when we get information in most cases as third party. The best as third party. Now it's up to our understanding or our experience or our expertise or whatever you call it to make that information right or pick it right or be careful with it and hedge the information and make sure we have it right. I mean, if we use caution, we have to use caution and give benefit of the doubt to what is plausible, benefit of the doubt to what is safe. Let's think of safety all the time. What is safe? If we're in doubt, benefit of the doubt, what is safe? Let's have precaution. What are the precautions? Okay, if this has been said, but I have my doubts. Okay, let me just be safe. Or let me make sure people are safe. Let me make sure people listening to this information are safe. Probably I cannot ascertain the truth. I mean, yes, it might be positive or might be negative, but the most important thing is that you, as a person, you are not taken in. You are not taken in, be guarded. At times, when we speak, we might be so much positive or so much willing, and we might be taken in. And we might be the people, I mean, the messengers for the dictator. And why the reason, there's another good reason why the dictator would want us to be the messengers. Because it's more plausible when it comes out from us. Because we trust each other. You can only be deceived by someone you trust. You can only be deceived by someone you trust. That's why we should be careful. If we are the guardians of information, we should be very careful and be responsible in how we bring out this information. Let's handle every information as a raw material. Let's refine that material and be careful with it and put it out there. Let's agitate it in a way that it's beneficial. I mean, it's not about lying about it, but to be careful and deliver it that way. And one of the information is about Yaya Jammeh having a fight with Saul Baji. I would take my bet that the information is false. It's not false that the people saying it's lying. No, it's false because it's been manufactured by Saul Baji and Yaya Jammeh. And why did I say that? Look at the pattern. How many times have we been here? Whenever there's a stalemate or tension or anything, we will always have a story of Saul Baji standing up to Yaya Jammeh. But where does it end? We will always see Saul Baji behind Yaya Jammeh as a tail. For how many years this has been happening? And I've said it. I have information, I look at the other side of the coin. And if I keep on looking at someone, I try to build a pattern with that person. I will profile the person himself. I'll profile the asset himself. I have profiled Yaya Jammeh, I have profiled Saul Baji, and every other person that matters in this course of history. I will try to profile them as much I can. And then whatever comes out from any story that comes out from them or about them, I will base it on the profile I got on these people. And the profile on Saul Baji is completely easy. He is someone that's been given something that he would never dreamt of, achieving in history. How can that person be ever disloyal? Yes, there's a time that he might be disloyal when the stakes are high, that he might lose everything. But we have to profile him again. How intelligent is he? Or how brave is he? How courageous is he to take to do the right thing? Because of the stakes are very high right now for him to do the right thing. But knowing Yaya Jammeh, profiling Yaya Jammeh, would anybody be standing up to Yaya Jammeh all the time and always getting away with it and going to bed and sleep? Especially being very close to Yaya Jammeh. Because I'll tell you what, no individual, no certain individual in the Gambia would guarantee you that they have anything to keep themselves safe. Apart from being part of an institution, as our political leaders are in an institution now. Putting it that way, I will tell you that these stories cannot be relied on. It's a decoy. It's a decoy for what? One, to make us believe, and make us naive, and so that Yaya Jammeh can go around and ambush us. We already make our profile. We have a very senior officers. Most of the senior officers have been profiled. We don't expect them to stand with us. We don't expect them to stand with us. We have made a profile, and based on the profiling and the possibility, we looked at the army as a whole and know how much they have to lose, and look at every other thing, their life, their interest, and every other thing. And we have come to a conclusion that we have hope that the majority of the army, I mean, most of them from the rank of a major, coming down. I mean, not all the majors. If I said rank of a major, not all the majors, not all the captains, not all the lieutenants, not all the 002s, 001 sergeants, no. But majority of them, they will be standing with us. And this is the work we're doing. We are not alienating the generals, but it's up to them to live up to it. They are individuals. They are not an institution. And we know that they are not in command because they've been placed there by Yahya Jammeh and they have never, exercised command. They've been, used as a tool by Yahya Jammeh. How can we today, think of relying on them, to be a command structure, part of the command structure? No. We have to be very careful with that. And the other bit is the briefing about Savage. It's the same outcome to the same conclusion again. It's not true. It's not true. And for the same simple reason, why is it not true? Why is it not true? Savage is the same person. It's the same person that have been given something that he was not, he didn't deserve, or something that is too good to be true for him. He has never dreamt of becoming a general or brigadier or whatever you call him. And all the privileges he's enjoying now. And for someone like Savage, in fact, imagine that this guy was beaten up, tortured, up to the point of death. And this guy was rescued by a comrade, by a friend, not even a relative. And the same person that rescued him, he knew that person during the 30th December and get that person tortured and killed. How can you trust an individual like that? And even if the story of Savage luring the 30th December guys and get killed, even that's not true, let's even discount that. Let's take another point here. If anybody any soldier would endure being tortured and to the point of being killed, and the same person who tortured you, release you, and let you back into society, that the same society, the same community, back to the same community that you've been terrorizing for him, and been disgraced again to that community, and rehired again, and given a position of so-called command. And still now you have never done anything to redeem or to deal with that person. How can we rely or how can we trust anything that comes from Savage? Based on that argument, it's up to Gambians to have a look that whether we should take anything coming from these people unless they live up to expectation. They are in command. What's stopping them? What's stopping them? They are not to tell us. If they are real, they are not to tell us. Let them do what they expect. What we expect them to do. Why would they believe that? They will have the audacity to be walking around just to talk about their defiance, and they are not ready, and they are not acting on their defiance. And my final point on these two rumors or stories, or what you call it, would be this. Based on intelligence that we trust, last week Savage asked for 2 platoons. For about 2 platoons might be about 66 men, depend on, I don't know what platoon stretch they're using now. Anything from 30 can be a platoon. Depends on the kind of, if you have a mechanized infantry, might be a little bit more because you have you add the support section, which is normally and heavy weaponry. Which is attached to the platoon. But normal infantry platoon is about 30 men. It's about in that sense. Savage demanded for two extra platoons to reinforce his position in Kanilai, because he said that he have this threat from from Senegal. Let me not use the word Casamance, from Senegal, because Casamance is a territory of Senegal. From the Senegalese forces, from this thing. He asked for that, and he was, the two platoons were sent to him, and those two platoons are with Savage right now. Whatever you take of that, fine. But as we know, the reason he asked for that is to stand up to, according to him, to stand up to Senegal. There's no other proof. All the intelligence we have around him, we have never, the people we trust have never heard him, apart from saying that he's loyal to Yahya Jammeh. All that the people we rely on, we trust, people around him have never heard him say anything apart from saying that he is loyal to Yahya Jammeh. On Thursday, Sol Badji, and I would tell these people, Sol Badji hardly speaks to the troops in State House or anywhere else because he can't express himself in English. Ansumana Tamba, yes, the Colonel of Brigade Ansumana Tamba, was brief after the closed door meeting before Yahya vanished on Friday. You see, that's where the speculation started about Yahya being arrested, about Yahya running away, and so on. You understand that when they had the briefing, in their, I'll call it a bunker, but like their private session, when they came out, Sol Badji, on behalf of Sol Badji and Sumana, called up the troops and emphasized on the troops to be loyal to Yahya Jammeh and to stand up with Yahya Jammeh. Yes, it is true that Sol Badji have briefed Yahya Jammeh to tell him that, look, we don't have confidence or hope that this army is going to stand with you. And him, Sol Badji, assure Yahya Jammeh that they are ready to stand and die with him, and which I know is not true. Neither Yahya or Sol Badji is ready to die. Gambians will be surprised. They don't have the courage to die. They don't have that courage. That's true that Sol Badji have advised Yahya that all their findings, that the ECOWAS threat is real, Senegal and French troops preparedness is real. In fact, Senegal and other forces infiltrating the Gambian army and armed forces, on spying mission, and the Gambian community on spying mission is true. The presence of intelligence officers in the country is true, and they don't know who they are and how to track them. All that is true. Sol Badji have given that, it's definitely true. Sol Badji have given that briefing to Yahya Jammeh. And all that is true. What's not true is that they are ready to die for him. And we have we were working on something, and it's going to come out. We're going to bring out something heavy on these people on the last week or the 2 weeks, and to warn them, and to we say there's a media campaign that we're working on, and we're going to identify all the people that we believe, senior officers that we believe will be standing, would be likely to stand with Yahya, and we see how we can agitate them. And when Ansumana Tamba spoke to the men, and our findings, and we asked the men, did you guys buy in that you're going to fight? This is State House I'm talking about. We're not talking about Bakau, Yundum, and all the other barracks. This is State House, the heart that Yahya is resting on now. What they said to us, they asked, are we kidding? Why would they want to die? Why would they want to die? That was the question. Why would they want to die? They didn't even say to fight with us, or fight for Gambia, or fight but for their own sake. Why would they want to die? That's the point they put us. That's why at times we listen to the message the way it's been said. It's not patronizing or saying, oh, no, this is Gambia, we fight for Gambia. No, they didn't say that. We put the questions in the right way. I mean, what's your point? What's your response? We know that they didn't respond to him, but I said, what would you, what's your take on this? And the answer was, why would we want to die with them? What have we benefited from? Their own. And most of them, it's about them not even benefiting. That's why we said it's not about tribe, it's not about anything now. It's about people who perceive to benefit from Yaya, or people who have committed crimes and are scared of the rule of law coming back to the Gambia. These are the findings, and these are the findings. But we are not relying on information that some of them are standing up to Yaya openly and so on. It's not even wise. If they're ready for something, the element of surprise is best. Yes, we have gathered evidence and intelligence on Yaya. Yes, he surrounded himself. He has not even trusted them. Yaya have not even trusted this so-called generals, because Yaya have learned from dictators. Yaya have learned from Bagbo. Yaya have learned from Samuel Doe. At the last minute, all these people he committed, if Yaya want to run away and leave them, they might hold on to Yaya, because he will be their insurance policy. If Yaya cannot negotiate anything with them, they will not want Yaya to go away. Yaya would deceive them. Yaya deceiving them with money. He's giving them some money and promising them rewards. This is the dictators, what they do. And how is Yaya securing himself now? And I'll get to the reason why probably Yaya is moving locations. Yaya is securing himself with Swandi Kamara, some of these rebels. They are not, have not have evidence on one Liberian in the Gambia, not one, but Gambians who've been to Liberia. And they are about 18 of them. A team of 18. They are the closest people, soldiers around Yaya now. And they are using four-wheel drives. Four-wheel drives. Because of Yaya, it's using the element of surprise as security. He doesn't want the soldiers to know where he's going, when he's going, where he's spending the night, and stuff like that, because he doesn't trust them. Yaya is thinking that, look, these people might sell me. All these Sol Badges and others here, they sign this. But if it gets to the crunch, they might make a deal. Yaya is scared of that. And Yaya is thinking of, look, if I have to run, I cannot run with these people. And if they know that I'm about to run, I'm not running with them, they might hold on to my son and pull me back. This is the reason Yaya is running around. We know that Yaya is using four-wheel drive vehicles, equipped with few Gambian soldiers, few. The rest, 18 of them, all these 18 are not within the convoy. All these 18 are the people put in 3 residents. 3 residents in the Gambia. Yaya is using 3 residents in the Gambia, and these are the same people guarding the escape boat at the behind State House. These are the people. Then we know that Yaya don't have a security. Then Yaya don't have any strategic plan to defend the Gambia or defend himself. We'll get to that, but just to show you the structures of what we're going on. And we have proof of this. When Yaya couldn't be found from Friday, we keep on looking for Yaya, we couldn't find Yaya. But Sunday morning, early in the morning, about 3, the timing given to us is between 3:15 to 3:45 a.m. in the morning. Yaya has been seen with these four vehicles, exact vehicles. And Yaya was seen in a uniform. That was the intelligence we had on Sunday. We didn't even have that intelligence on Sunday itself. We had that intelligence late on Tuesday evening. Because of the contact that gave us intelligence, we could not get hold of him. When we got the information, and the good thing was this intelligence was collaborated on the Thursday when Yaya went to the Gampel house just to prove to people that he's alive, to prove to people that he's around, to try to prove to people that he is in control. And Yaya came to that location with the same kind of escort, with an element of surprise, and everybody have seen the evidence in Yaya appearance, the uniform and his manners, and the attention that he was seeking for, he didn't have it. People didn't even acknowledge that Yaya was around. And that is part of the thing. Yaya doesn't want to be recognized. Yaya doesn't want to be picked up. And we'll get to the reason why Yaya is thinking of someone who might pick him up. This is the thing about the rumors and the things around Yaya. I will tell you one thing here. It's not a secret, because we would not have said anything on the media, but Yaya already knew about it. The American government have sent the I forgot how to call it, the anti-narcotic squad, prosecutors to Senegal. Why? Because they expect him to extradite Yaya to America. This is the threat on Yaya. People are thinking that Yaya is scared of the coalition government prosecuting him. That's not true. Yaya is not scared of us prosecuting him. Yaya is scared of the international courts prosecuting him. If we can remember, the Guinea-Bissau General Bubu Nacho had a plea bargain. Gentlemen, you know the laws in America. If anybody any citizen of America or any human being of the status of Bubu, the amount of narco export and the involvement General Bubu had with the Colombians and all these people, for them to take him to court and let him off because of time served. Just imagine the amount of intelligence Bubu had volunteered. And we heard through the prosecutor saying it in the court that he have assisted and had a plea bargain, and he was let off. This is hard of. You can go and look at the courts in America and see how many years. Even some of these people, even when they had a plea bargain, they would still have to do 20 years at the minimum, 20 years at the minimum. But to be completely let off, that just tells you how much. And I'll tell you, we wouldn't want to compromise certain things, but it got to a level. Because, these same officers visited Senegal, visited the ex-narcotic officer, Ben Jammeh. And Ben would not volunteer the information. They could not force Ben to volunteer the information. But when they got Bubu volunteered all the information required. Now, it's huge. Enough evidence that makes Americans want to extradite Yaya straight from Senegal. And now, if the Americans are hopeful, I don't know how it's going to end up. I'm just saying this. This is based on analysis, on the understanding of what's going on. Hopeful of extradition. They must know something that we don't know. Let's put it that way. If the Americans are hopeful for an extradition to, in fact, send their DA to Senegal, they know something we don't know. And something we can't know. I won't sit here to lie about it. I can't know that. But my understanding on how things work, they know something we don't know. And that explains too why Yaya is moving locations. Probably he's thinking that he's going to be snatched. Or thinking that, because Saul Baji said that the foreign intelligence have penetrated the armed forces of the Gambia, thinking that, is there a bounty onto Yaya that's too good not to act on it? Probably Saul Baji or other people around State House been offered amnesty by the America, guaranteed that, look, you know, we might give you this, we might give you that. Probably, Yaya is scared of that. Probably, Yaya know the capabilities of the American forces, the French special forces, the Senegalese special forces, to snatch him from anywhere in the Gambia. Now, the best way to do it is to run around. Is to run around. Now, these are the up-to-date security situation in the Gambia. Apart from having hope and confidence in the general forces of the Gambia, from the ranks of major, I'm not discounting, let me put it, I'm not discounting some of the generals or anything. But some of the generals, we have already profiled them, I will come out with them. We don't expect them. If they want to surprise, let them surprise us, but there's a time for that. We're still giving them time and doing whatever we're doing with them or whatever we're doing with our intelligence. Then we'll come for the final week. We'll have to come, full force and put everything on the table for them. But that's the situation. And the other reason I'm here to debunk or to address the propaganda that the Yaya propaganda machine is pulling out there. As I said, there are many, Yaya is putting out his propaganda in many ways. And one thing I don't like doing, or I don't want to do, and I'll never do, because there's no person big enough in this world for me to take on. I'll take on issues. There's no single person that is relevant in this world. Even Yaya Jammeh is not relevant in the talks of things. I am talking about issues that Yaya Jammeh have done, not Yaya Jammeh himself. And what is done, it's to say it's not Yaya Jammeh itself. Even if Yaya Jammeh leaves, I want those things to be ratified. Then it's not about Yaya Jammeh. It's about the things that's happening. Those are the things I am after. I'm after social justice. This is my issue. Now, if I am talking about people because of they are complicit in, and they have relevance to what I'm talking about, but not them as a person, not their private lives or anything else. I don't have an interest in them. Especially Gambians I know, or Gambians who might be friends, or who might be friends, or might be family, or I couldn't say might be family, but who probably might be in family, because apart from the blood, we can disown some of our people. The important thing about this is, I'm going to talk about issues that Ibu Jallow has been putting out there, and it's up to Gambians to check for themselves if Ibu Jallow is APRC propaganda machine, or Ibu Jallow is Yaya Jammeh propaganda machine. And I'm not going to go into history. I don't have the time to go into history, but because Ibu Jallow history is not, it's open, it's out there for all Gambians to see. And what I'm talking about is the urgency. I'm talking about current issues, that evidences that you can find yourself if you go to Ibu Jallow's timeline. And all this thing is not something I'm accusing Ibu Jallow of. It's something that Ibu Jallow is interested in to even put out there, or not, to the point of putting it on her stage, social media timeline, Facebook timeline, and it's social media. I am not intruding or anything. It's open out there to be taken. And I want this to be about issues. I don't want it to be personal. I don't mind people going personal on me. I don't go personal on people. And I want us to concentrate on issues. I don't want us to be distracted. That's the other reason I don't call out names. Now, if we talk about this, if whoever, it's democracy. You can free to take it on as you wish. But this is my point of what I'm doing. It's about the issues, that have been put out there. And I am saying, to my understanding, if hence Ibu Jallow is the one behind this propaganda, then Ibu Jallow is a propagandist for Yaya Jammeh. Yes, I point this out. Ibu Jallow have made in one of the comments that he is independent. He said monkey don't work, baboon work, monkey eat, or something like that. He used that reference. I don't know why Ibu Jallow would use the word monkey work, baboon eat. He is independent. Yeah, Ibu Jallow used the word, he is independent, and I don't identify anything like independence in this issue. It's either with us or with the dictator. If anybody claims to be independent, you have your democratic right to claim your independence. But for our judgment, we judge Gambians according to the good and bad. There's no middle ground or a gray area when we come to addressing Gambian issues. And we have gone beyond politics. This is not about this is not about politics. This is about salvation, about stopping these hideous crimes onto our people. And in fact, not the crime onto the people, but this is about the existence of Gambia as we know it. We've come to that level that we cannot compromise anymore. We have to take on issues head on. Then it's not a time that we'll identify ourselves as party. We'll identify ourselves as individuals being independent on issues. There's nothing like that. Not a time that any Gambian can call himself to be any other profession, but a Gambian force. To be a journalist or a lawyer or say that your profession have stopped you to take a stand in this issue. No, that's another point I want to put on. I cannot stand up with any Gambian that would call up his profession first in these issues, in the climate time we are now. Being a lawyer, a doctor, a journalist, or anything to say that because of my professional background, I cannot take side. You either with the Gambians, because I don't belong to any party. I'm not looking forward to belonging to any party. You either with the Gambians or you are with the dictator. But we cannot accept any Gambian to claim to be independent in this or not to take side. I would make a disclaimer or point it out to you. I know Ibu Jallow. I've shared bed with Ibu Jallow for many times, so many times. We slept, we've gone on, partying, we did everything. In the early, mid-80s to mid-90s. That's how long we know each other. We share things. Yes, we haven't spoken after 95 for a period, for certain obvious reasons. We got on again and promised that we bear the hatchets on whatever it is. It has never in the open. It's been kept between us and still kept between us, and I'll keep it that way. Whatever personal is personal, but whatever true, that cannot be. It's a matter of time that if we have to deal with it, we'll deal with it. Then I know that at this time we are constituted Yajame. We are not constituted, and the taking of Yajame out there, then any other issue will be addressed to the competence frameworks been put through the commissions or whatever we want to do. If we have our views or opinions then on people or institutions or anything else, that's the time I will have time for that. But right now, is anything we doing, or I think I am doing, is about what will help to take Yaya Jammeh out of the equation. I know him that much. But that's where it is. I would start from this. This is taken from Ibu's timeline. Ibu and the Gambia inquiry. Ibu have on his timeline a story from the Gambia inquiry. We all know that the Gambia inquiry is APRC propaganda material, website. We ask ourselves, because Ibu will come up to say his sources from the APRC. How come that Ibu is so connected to the APRC to always have sources from the APRC, and all the sources, all the information he takes from the APRC, they are not negative. They are positive of the APRC. But Ibu claimed to be independent. Or Ibu will come out to say that his sources from the MFDC, MFF MFDC, the movement, the rebellion in the rebel group in Casamance. Ibu would say that his sources from the Casamance rebels. And the sources always give him something. That is, to frighten the Gambian or against or something against the Senegambia interest or Gambia interest for that matter. And Ibu will come out against that. And another thing Ibu does, whenever Ibu put out anything about worldview and pertaining to Gambia or Senegal, is something against Gambia or against Senegal. Even to the story of the point of Senegal and Israel, Ibu would point out, anything he point out worldview is against the interests of Gambia or Senegal, because of he is saying Senegal as allied to Gambia and against to Gambia. This is another point that we have to look at. And this thing about the inquiry is, he brought out this story saying that there's a letter to be that's been going around saying that it's from Samsudin Sar. Now some of them are claiming the letter to not to be authentic or whatever it is. But hence is this something. Hence is something that Ibu have looked at and think that is something negative, thinking that it's something negative to the Gambian people. I'm not going to use the word the President-elect Barrow or the coalition partner. It's Gambian people. This is not about Barrow or OJ or anybody. This is Gambian people. I'm going to address us as Gambian people. And the dictator. Whoever is with the dictator, I'm not addressing you as a Gambian, but I'm addressing you as a dictator, because that's whom you're standing with. Now, Ibu would highlight this thing because it's again, thinking that it's against Gambian people. But I have not gone through his timeline and seen anything positive about Gambian people. And everything for the dictator. Then if that's my point of saying that he is the propagandist for the dictator in the diaspora. And there's a history of that. If you check the history of Ibu, especially commemorating the 30th December, and pirating 30th December, and every other thing that's been going on. And the next point is, Ibu on this timeline again, Ibu on ECOMOG standby force, on Madam Johnson Sirleaf. Ibu is trying to point out to Madam Johnson Sirleaf's statement, saying that there is standby force created, and Ibu is questioning where is the standby force from the ECOWAS. Then Ibu again is coming across. Guys, I'm very sorry, probably I'm not reading your messages. I'm not very good at doing two things. Ibu again is pointing out something to try to point out to a weakness, to try to say that, look, there's nothing like an ECOMOG force, ECOWAS force, there's nothing like a standby. He is asking, where are they? Even though the evidence is everywhere to be seen. But Ibu is agitating them, trying to undermine the confidence that the Gambians have, trying to put fear into the Gambian, and saying that where are the forces or where the readiness Madam Johnson Sirleaf have talked about. Gentlemen, Gambians, this is another point that we have to look at. Why? This is another point that is on Ibu's timeline. And Ibu latest news on Yaya showing up at Juma prayers and giving zakat, sadaqah, rumor of Supreme Islamic Council vehicle been taken back by Yaya. Yaya been offered asylum to South Africa. Ibu claiming it to be false. Ibu knowledge of Buhari and APRC friendship, and Buhari been sympathetic to the APRC cause. Yes, I know most people say Ibu is a waste of space. No, I'm not talking about Ibu. I'm talking about the content, the material Ibu is putting out there. and the distraction and people is trying to cause. And if you look at the material, it's the same material that's, Sam Saad is bringing out in another way, and other people are bringing out the other way. And we are here to take on the propagandists of the dictator. Yes, I'm going to go through to all these points that Ibu put on that timeline. One, Ibu saying that Yahya Jammeh appeared at the prayer ground, Juma prayer, and giving sadaqah. Yes, that it points out one thing. Then Yahya Jammeh giving us sadaqah is still telling us Yahya Jammeh is not thinking logically. Yahya Jammeh is still thinking of there's a supernatural or mystic methods or thing that would take him out of where he is. And that's we keep on telling you that. That's why we might end up having Yahya. We have to, when we think of Yahya decisions or where he works, we have to think that Yahya might not be thinking logically, but he is thinking that there's a spiritual means of getting out of this, but not a logical means. And the people around Yahya too are not thinking logically. That's why at times when we try to analyze Yahya, let's not be rational. Let's be a little bit irrational and think of what if Yahya is more into his spiritual thinking or idealistic thinking than logical thinking. And pointing out, he himself pointed out that Yahya is in green haftan or waramba or whatever. I've not checked this story anyway. I'm taking it according to Ibu. If Yahya is wearing green, why is Yahya wearing green this thing now? We knew Yahya of wearing white. Yes, then Yahya is still, as I said before, Yahya is hiding. He's not controlled, he's not confident. And Yahya is running away from something. He's hiding because green can blend with the green background. Then Yahya is hiding from something, or somebody, or some people. Drones, he don't want to stand out. We know the drone technology. Satellites, he doesn't want to be tracked. People to snatch him, thinking that, look, if they are foreign forces, probably they don't know me. Only the way they can tell my defense is if I wear my big waramba. Then let me not wear my big waramba, let me wear a green one. Probably that's, according to Ibu's statement, then Yahya is not confident of the state of affairs, the zakat and everything. Yes, the rumor about Yahya, it might be true. We all know how Yahya behaved. And taking something, and that tells us something else. If Yahya, the Supreme Islamic Council, as an institution, if they were given a utility vehicle, why would Yahya take that utility vehicle of them? Because of what? They are not supporting Yahya. Not because of they are not an institution to do what we expect them to do. Another weakness of Yahya or anybody around Yahya thinking that, he is smart enough or he's intelligent enough to be seen or to be allied to him, but to try to label himself to be independent and people to be fooled thinking that he's independent. Yes, Yahya offered to asylum offer of asylum or looking for asylum to South Africa, whatever you say. Also, as I said, at times because we have at times because we are the third party. In intelligence gathering, you have to know the basis of the strength of the information you have. We as a third party, we have to analyze based on what our understanding of the knowledge, subject matter, and based on the reliability of the asset given it to us, and based on the plausibility of the story. These are the ways we try to bring some of this thing up. When I heard of South Africa, I give it the plausibility for many reasons. Because I am privy, I know of this intelligence that Yahya wanted Saudi Arabia. Senegal stopped it. Yes, why did Senegal stop Saudi Arabia from taking Yahya? I'll tell you, Senegal is the biggest ally now of Saudi Arabia in Africa, for that matter. Especially sub-Saharan Africa. In Egypt, even Egypt now, Senegal have taken over. Because of what? And this is the same reason. Senegal would vote against Israel. and neglect the technical assistance and the transfer of technology Israel is giving to Senegal on agriculture and or other fields. Because of what? They are making that of it's not only the moral stand or the of protecting our own Muslim or the Palestinian or no. Yes, if it is even the benefit that people think that they're going to lose because of they voted against Israel. Egypt made that mistake. They went and stood with Russia when they voted for Syria. They went with Russia. And Saudi Arabia, being apart from America, being one of the biggest donors to the Egyptian government, withhold some of those funds. But Senegal, for contributing troops to Yemen and all the other diplomatic support they're giving to Saudi Arabia, they have leverage when it comes to sub-Saharan Africa. Now, why did Senegal stop the Yaya's appeal to Saudi Arabia? Not that they don't want peace in Gambia, but Senegal make sure that Yaya would not get off scot-free. This is not it's not hidden anymore. They don't want Yaya to get off scot-free. And because once he is in Saudi Arabia has to honor. Saudi Arabia cannot be seen, and it's in their history. That's why even America could not get Idi Amin from them, or any other country can get any other dictator that gets it to Saudi Arabia. Once they honor this thing, they quote the Islamic tradition according to the prophets of Islam, not only Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but according to the dictate of Islam, that if you have an agreement like that, you have to keep to that agreement. Then Saudi would not want to break it. Morocco did not have it at all. Morocco don't want the attention. Morocco didn't have Blaise Compaoré for the same reason. They don't want the attention. Blaise Compaoré went there first when he fled Burkina Faso, and Blaise Compaoré got assets far more than Yaya in Morocco, and he was not allowed. Yes, Senegal plotted with Mauritania and sent an envoy for Mauritania to accept Lou in Yaya to go to Mauritania, and so that when they're ready, they will go for him. Because Senegal have an excellent relationship with Mauritania now. Why? The Senegalese government and the Mauritanian government have multi-billion-dollar investments in the oil drilling sector. And that's more valuable to them than Yaya as an individual. This is not even Gambia as a state. Let's make it completely clear in our head now that Yaya, if it's negotiating now, Yaya is negotiating on his own credibility, and we all know that Yaya have never been strategic in building friendship. Even Idi Amin, we mocking Idi Amin, and I said Yaya is the stupidest dictator ever. Idi Amin did this during the Cold War. Idi Amin allied himself to Saudi Arabia and agitated Israel, and even you remember the hostages, Israel hostages and everything in this thing. That's why he was able. Yes, they didn't give him much, but at least they gave him a place to stay for the rest of his life, and he's never been persecuted. But Yaya has not got one country in this war. But when I analyzed all these ones that have been pointed out, and Qatar to Yaya wanted to go to Qatar, Senegal said no, Qatar said no, because of the relation of Qatar and Senegal. When I analyzed all these facts, it's not based on the facts, because I can say it's facts. I cannot tell you how I can put that to you. But I forget about South Africa. And when the story about South Africa came up, and I sound out, talk to certain people, and they looked at it and they said, yeah, there's a possibility. And when I looked at it, these are the possibilities. All the West African countries, or any African country, there's no African country now that would give Yaya what he wants better than South Africa in many ways. The stability of the South African government. Guinea-Conakry is not stable. Guinea-Conakry will be going to elections in 3 years, I think. And Guinea-Conakry, in fact, this is the last time for the president. And we suspected that the president is trying to go and change the constitution again to go for a third term. Or open up the constitution again to just continue his dictatorship. Then there's no stability there. or thinking that the Guinean government is not internationally strong. Probably if pressure is put to Alpha Conde, he might relent. And he's not even his friendship with Alpha Conde, it's not really tight. It's all now based on marital relationship. Then he can be extradited. In Nigeria offered him, but what? He knows that Nigeria, and Yaya have quoted that during his meeting with the so-called African Bar Association, that what they did to Taylor. Yaya is thinking that what they did to Taylor, after everything settled out, they're going to take him out. Ghana is the same thing. He thinking that Ghana would succumb to international pressure. Ghana and all these countries are members of the ICC. These are the reasons. And the third reason is Yaya have assets in South Africa, and Yaya would have transferred a lot of money in South Africa, and thinking that he can live the luxurious life he is accustomed to now. Rather than going to Sudan, where he knows that he's a dictator, is not stable, and is erratic like him. And the Islamic and all those cultural things, Yaya is not comfortable with that environment. Then the plausibility, if Ibu Jallo source from whatever it is, and he is happy because it's something positive for Yaya, he's happy to bring it out to the social media to say, look, even the story on Yaya going to South Africa is not true. And the reason even, we're taking this more seriously is, why would the Yaya propagandists even put any interest in a story which is not true? Because when I put it onto, because when we have some of these briefings, we challenge each other. When I put my case onto the possibility of Yaya taking up asylum to South Africa because of these conditions, but one of the smart people I was with said, but Yaya is not it's not showing up as he's about to leave town. And I said, obviously he would not. I said, obviously, Yaya would not show that he is about to leave town. I said, remember, the people around him, Yaya would not want those people to hold on to him, as they did to Doe. The last minute, when Doe want to leave, to start to use excuse that he's going for arms, they said to him, no, comrade. You have to die with us in this mansion. That's why Doe was so desperate. When Prince Johnson used deception to ask him to come and sign an accord, a treaty with him in presence of the Ecomog soldiers at the Ecomog base. He wanted that because that was the only lifeline left for him. Because he was boxed. Because the NPFL troops, with the Charles Taylor troops, came up to the point of it was only a small route between them, their position and the position of the executive mansion, which is the state house for Samuel Doden. The position of the NPFL was the University of Liberia. That's where they were. And they were pounded. And in fact, the person that headed the unit then was a Gambian mercenary called Mohamed Diallo or Mohamed Ba. He has got many allies, names to him. Some call him Mohammed Islam. He was the one his forces were the one right there to just to get in there, but they could not because of Doe fortified the mansion with his tribesmen, the clan, and the Cam Johnson Road. There's a barracks, just like you have a barracks, the Hamza barracks, or you have the Old Atlantic as a barracks. They have the Cam Johnson Road barracks, which was the barracks that his tribesmen were transferred, and they fortified the mansion. That was, but the NPFL, the INPFL, the Independent National Front, which was a faction that came off the National Front Liberation of Liberia. Prince Johnson took the other side of the island called took the other island called Busroad Island, which is the other side of town. And even managed to venture into a place called West Point in town. If people who know the geography in Monrovia would know where West Point is. West Point is just over the river, to the other side of town, and from West Point, they started to advance, and they could not advance towards the side of the executive mansion, the other side of the executive mansion, because of what? Mamba Point. There's a big, Mamba Point is like top of the hill, where the American embassy was based, still based, at a vantage point. The American Marines were there, and they have cut off Mamba Point from a street called Benson Street towards Mamba Point. They cut off, they took up Benson Street to Randall Street. From Randall Street, they cut off to Waterside, which is a commercial district. All the forces of NPF, what they can do was cross the bridge, or do an amphibious landing onto the other side and get to Water Point and do their looting. But they could not get to Camp Johnson Road through Mamba Point because of the American Marines were blocking their way. Now, but Samuel Doe was trapped. And just like Yaya is trapped now in the State House when it happened. And now he was running from supplies. And they're getting hungry. They're getting desperate. And when Prince Johnson realized this, he deceived him. He said, look, my family, you are closer to my ideology now, it's closer to you than Taylor. Now what we can do is, let's come. We have independent forces here. We signed a treaty. When we sign the treaty, then we can come together and flush him out of Monrovia, and we'll have a power-sharing government. That was the agreement, that was the message sent to Doe. And that's why Doe have to leave the executive mansion. He and come to the free port of Monrovia. And during the course of coming to, the minute he entered the free port of Monrovia, people have been blaming. I know there's a conspiracy about the ECOMOG contingent, or the contingent commander, deployment commander, the Ghanaian, I forgot his name. The complicit probably is not true. The thing was the ECOMOG were hosted by the rebels because the rebels were controlling the free port of Monrovia, and they invited them in. They came in. Their mandate was peacekeeping, was not peace enforcement. It's just after when Doe was captured under their watch, they had to revert to peace enforcement and push the national the Prince Johnson to an area and encamp him. And camp him in his camp in Buswood Island. And another thing is push him to red light. Push Taylor to red light and create a buffer zone for a safe, have that safety to independently operate in the Buswood Islands. And later they took over the Coast Guard base as their headquarters. And this is how the war spread out. And this is the situation Yaya is in now, because of the desperation. Yaya is in now. That's why that they would give the credit. They would look at this South Africa thing and say, no, Yaya would not want his men to hold on to him. That's one reason Yaya probably is showing defiance. One reason probably, I'm analyzing. Two, because he cannot go with them. Two, Yaya is scared of being betrayed. Yaya is scared of being betrayed. Remember when Blaise Compaoré left Burkina Faso, the troops that in the State House didn't know that Blaise was running. No. Blaise didn't tell them he was running. He just left the State House and they didn't imagine him leaving town. But Blaise left. And remember, Blaise didn't want to leave. Even after Macky Sall went there, Blaise said he was not going to leave. He started giving conditions of how to negotiate, how to share government or something else, or change the constitution. No. But the people didn't have it. That's the lesson we should learn. We should not have any negotiation. We are at a point of strength, and this is not negotiable. Yeah. That's the point of the South Africa asylum. Yes. Ibu said that he's got, from his sources, they've got knowledge of Buhari now being friendly to Yaya. The credibility of that is easy. Buhari, for one thing, Buhari was first overthrown by let me even get to before being overthrown. Buhari became a president in that coup, because not that Buhari took part in that coup. Junior officers took part in that coup because of the condition of that country. And they thought about Buhari because if they known Buhari as a no-nonsense man. Buhari was summoned to come and attend and take over the leadership of the coup. Buhari never overthrew that government. He was recognized because of his no-nonsense approach. Arnold Kuno, yes, Yaya Kamara. Arnold Kuno was the Ghanaian contingent commander in Ekoma. Buhari never overthrew. It's because of his character. He was selected by the junior officers that overthrew the government. That's one. I said we have to profile the people we're talking about in this story. And Buhari being a seasonal general, and Buhari coming back, and still now, Buhari could have relaxed and enjoyed the luxuries of whatever as ex-president of Nigeria, but he came back fighting from a political party. And he fought. His party was small, but he fought. And why was he selected to lead this thing? He was not the most influential. Atiku Abubakar was a multi-billionaire. Atiku Abubakar and others fought for that position. But what? When they came together, all the other parties agreed on Buhari. Not because of his size of his party, no, because of his candidature, because of his character, because of his nature. This guy has become a Democrat. Then if we analyze Buhari as the person we know him, and recent developments, and remember Buhari came up because of he got this substance and he want to see Nigeria somewhere. Nigeria have lost everything, from Obasanjo, to go good luck Jonathan. Nigeria become a laughing stock. Nigeria lost its position in West Africa, in Africa and everywhere else, economical and everything, corruption and everything. Buhari come to revamp Nigeria. And one reason was the security and corruption. And now, with recent developments with the Boko Haram, and Buhari is on top of the approval rating now. Yes, the corruption, and if you know corruption in Nigeria, you will know the problem that Buhari is facing. Now, okay, let's just put it this way. Now, Buhari is trying to put himself back, or Nigeria back to the international scene. Senegal is becoming the player, but now they want to be seen as the players. Even Ghana, becoming more, because of Ghana becoming more democratic, more stable, more respectable. And this guy wants to rebuild this respectability. Now, if you have a motive like that, why would you compromise that motive with a gone dictator? And you know, I'll tell you one thing for soldiers, as a professional soldiers, we are really irritated, we are really annoyed if we see our comrades, wherever they are, behaving in a certain way. And Buhari cannot just stand the way Yaya has been behaving. And if you look at his presidency, have you ever seen him entertain Yaya? No. Why would he, at this last moment, start to entertain Yaya, become friend with Yaya? And as we know, the intelligence we have, in fact, Yaya has been rude to Buhari. And the last word Buhari said to him that the more you stay here, the more you lose power, and we'll take you out here by force. That was the last word Buhari exchanged with Yaya. Then why is Ibu Jallow, if he is intelligent as some of us portray him to be, or he portray himself to be, why he is buying into the notion because someone in the APRC said to him, unless he is part of the APRC or the propaganda, or he's happy with the information? Why would Ibu Jallow come out with information which have no substance, to say that Buhari is now friends of Yaya and he's becoming sympathetic? The intelligence of Buhari and what Buhari have to lose. Why would Buhari be sympathetic to a very nonsense claim? Wherever, one thing we should just think of, where have ever it happened for an opposition to be able to steal election? It has never happened in the history of this universe. Am I using the word universe, the right word, or the world, or whatever? Then why would Buhari lead a negotiating team and in fact undermine himself? Look, Buhari is not a general from Gambia. Buhari went to institutions. I know he didn't go to civil institutions, but he went to military academies where he will have the equal training and then the intellectual this thing to come out. In Britain, in America, and other institutions, even in Nigeria, in Jaje, and even University of Ife. University of Ife offer is one of the few universities in Africa that offered PPE, and PPE, that's what makes us a leader: philosophy, psychology, and economics. You see, these are generals from seasonal background. They might be corrupt at times, but Buhari, as I said, he stood out among the generals of Nigeria. Then the story of Buhari being sympathetic and so on, how can that be true? Or how can anybody claim to be aware and be eloquent or read or whatever, look at information and just run with it, unless you are happy to run with a positive information that is positive for APRC or Yajam. And this would bring us to the GDC again. Ibu not me, go to his timeline. He have replied to someone else, said, I am independent and I am member of GDC. I'm not part of any, I'm not part of the coalition. This is an important point because I've been making a point about Mama Kandeh. You see, when Yaya Jammeh conceded defeat, Mama Kandeh conceded defeat. When Yaya say he annulled the results, we didn't hear from Mama Kandeh again. We heard from who? Esa Jallow, and according to sources, Esa Jallow went to Facebook to put the GTC position, but it's Mama Kandeh was not happy with that press statement. And the reason I've believed that statement is I'm not taking on that source because I have evidence of the GDC in Dakar, the GDC, which I claim, and now even knowing what I know now, claim to be part of Yaya mechanism to control the Gambia. And I will come, as I said, I'm not here to distract. I'm not here to pick on anybody else now. But after Yaya Jammeh gone, we have to look at the GDC again. I have evidence of the GDC standing and the GDC position being trying to get Yaya Jammeh to stay in power. I have evidence of that, and there's no point bringing the evidence now. They're doing it themselves. But I'll come up with that after Yaya Jammeh is gone. Now, Ibu Jallow is saying that being part of the GDC and all the literature, and the same literature is the same kind of literature Ibu Jallow was bringing in during the election campaign. And that same literature was one literature that was only fighting the coalition partners, but not fighting Yaya Jammeh. Yes, by default, the election result came out that if you look at it, the other way you want to look at it, say that GDC votes went to, was good for us. No, it depends how you looked at it. But that probably by default it happened, but it was not by design. Because, some of the dynamics changed at the last minute. They could not control, although they didn't foresee, because they didn't foresee a coalition government, coalition partnership. And this time, that's why I'm bringing it up again. Still, we haven't heard from Mama Kandeh. We have not heard from the GDC. So, because if this is critical time now. This is now all the people who stood up to say that they love the Gambia to the extent that they want to lead the Gambia, to take Gambia out of the dustbin. Now, Gambia is still in the dustbin, and even in more dirt. Why is Mama Kandeh not standing up with the Gambian people? And to tell us or stand up and advocate or whatever people used to attribute to him, his charm or whatever he has, to use it onto the rest of the APRC and the rest of his members of parliament he was part of, and the council of elders and councillors and whatever, and bring them out to eliminate Yaya Jammeh. Why he's not doing it? Why is he returning back to his campaign headquarters in Senegal? Because I will just point this out. One of the strategies was to put the GDC at Senegal because you remember, Senegal was the platform that the opposition, and that's why I said most of the people in Senegal they bought into the GDC. Yaya was smart enough putting the vehicle, knowing that if I put a magnet here, I would attract all the elements within. All the elements within the Senegalese opposition here. And if we come to it, if I bring my evidence on the extent these people went with their backers to try to get Gambia into more shit, sorry about the language, into more trouble by trying to get Yaya to stay through the process is taken now. And this is the position that I'm trying to bring. On another point, Ibu on his timeline, is on Nigeria Foreign Affairs Minister visit to Senegal. Which is a fact, we all seen it. But on Ibu's take, Ibu said that Ibu point out looking for Ibu point out that the Nigerian and the Senegalese are looking for a peaceful solution, which I agree. Obviously, everybody's looking for a peaceful solution. We are looking for a peaceful solution. But Ibu gave 2 points for using the word peaceful. That's why I said, let us be very careful. There's this word of peaceful now. Gambians, some of our Gambians using the word peaceful is a code word for let's leave Yaya there. And those people, they are living in peace, Yaya been there. Then who are they? They are the minority then who live in peace, whilst Yaya is the head of state. But we know that we are not living in peace. We have not lived in peace for 22 years. We don't see the reason why we wouldn't get to this level and completely regain our independence. He said, Ibu's point, he said, I'm not quoting what word, probably returning to, he said that they're looking for peaceful solution to return to constitutional orders by either accepting the pending Supreme Court proceeding and the decision it will come out with, or convincing Yaya to step down peacefully. Ibu Jallow decided to took a position here. This is his position. And he asked Gambians to take a position. But he said this is his position, that the Senegalese, Nigerian foreign minister came to Senegal to discuss peace, a peaceful way of getting out of this problem by constitutional means, in that by going through the courts, and if a verdict comes, or whatever the verdict is, we accept that verdict, that is constitutional route for him, or by convincing Yaya to step down peacefully. These are the two things. That's why I say he is very selective. He's either selective, or we are crediting Ibu with so much intelligence he doesn't have. It can either be one of these. Because I have a point here. Yes, we all agree that it's a constitutional means we're looking at, and it's a peaceful way we're looking at. But if we're looking at the constitutional means, why didn't Ibu see the constitutional means of where we are now? That elections have already been declared by the competent authorities, and there's no presence of Supreme Court in the Gambia because of the criminality of the sitting head of state, or because of we cannot constitute a Supreme Court within this period, which is immoral, legally not standing, and we cannot expect to go around hunting, offering out, trying to look for someone who would serve our justice. Of foreigners. How can Ibu, if he's independent, if Ibu is a Gambian, and if we love Gambia, how can Ibu stand? And if Ibu is honest, to stand to say that the important decision as this, it would going to be left with 4. Why is Yaya struggling to get 4 legal practitioners in the Gambia to sit in the bench, on the bench to look after into this? If even it was right to do. Why would, over our dead bodies, why would Gambia would be restored to doing all we have done, and would restore to going to the Supreme Court? For 4 foreigners, we all know, it's all over the place. Why would you go around in the markets of Douala, market of Lagos, looking for people to combat? Why would you, even some of them saying that a farmer Why was that person a former Chief Justice coming back to sit on the bench? And I mean, you want to be objective here. And you want people to take you for seriously that you are intellectual, you are smart, you love Gambia, you are honest, you are upright. It's for Gambians to choose. But we have to point it out for what the material it is. And another constitutional point is to make sure Yaya is gone by all means necessary. It's constitutional. Remember, it's constitutional. Why Ibu didn't object to that part of the Constitution? To say that if we get to this point, I mean, the constitutionality is to make sure the law stands. And how can the law stand? We cannot restore to the courts. A verdict has been given. Now this guy is a rebel, without a cause. How do you take out a rebel? We have the Gambia Armed Forces with the constitution mandated to take care of the security threat internally and externally. And now we have an internal threat, who is Yahya Jammeh. Now that's why we're calling up the Gambia Armed Forces to look at their institutional mandate, constitutional mandate. And when it comes to the day, at the time, and take care of the problem, and which is Yahya Jammeh. It's still continuing. The presence of the Nigerian foreign minister in Senegal. You see, that's why I said either Ibu is not smart as we take him to be, or he's not honest as some of you guys take him to be. But if he is, Ibu should understand diplomatic language. There's something we call diplomatic language. There's something we call diplomatic protocols. There's something we call escalation in a crisis. If Nigeria, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf decided to delegate, and look at this, why Ellen Johnson Sirleaf decided to delegate Buhari to head the negotiating? Because of his qualities, being a former soldier and all the credit. I mean, these things that, look, you can talk sense to this boy. He's your boy. You can talk sense to this boy. You have the experience and everything. Now, if Buhari is the head of negotiating thing, but knowing, I have to be quick, the battery is going, knowing the importance of Senegal strategically in the things and matters, why would they not go and consult Senegal? And when they consult in Senegal, and Macky Sall, even in France, use all the diplomatic words and finally said it, unless you don't want to hear it, that all means necessary, by all means necessary, Yahya is going to go. If force, but force is the last. And as I said, there's escalation in the process of diplomacy. And there are protocols in the process of diplomacy. And there's a language used in diplomacy. This is not Yahya Jammeh's government. This is international people standing up. And it's unfortunate, I didn't realize that I would take this much time, and the battery is almost finished. But let me just rush up to the last minute point of here. And the reason actually I really reacted to this is, I'm coming to Facebook Live, is the final point that Ibu did on a post, in fact, is saying that Barrow is still unprotected. Ibu Jallow pointing out that Barrow is still unprotected. I will tell Ibu Jallow, and this is Ibu Jallow talking, if he thinks that Barrow is still unprotected, let them go and touch Barrow or anybody around Barrow. And let Ibu Jallow note that Not that when the genocide courts or Nuremberg or any other tribunals happen, it's not only the people that took arms they've been prosecuted. The language of people that people use on social media should be careful of. If he's smart enough, he should know that. If he's pointing out that Barrow is still not protected, is that a warning? I'm taking it as a warning, but I am not taking it as an advice. And saying he's doing the messaging for Yaya, or who is doing the messaging for what, or if he's mixed or anything, he can respond to it. But he's open to interpret my take on this. And he can interpret as much as it is, and I hope he takes it as what it is. But let him take it as he wishes. And on a final note, because the battery is finished, I'll just stop this thing here. But I'll say that by grace of God, inshallah, on Tuesday on the Fatu Network, I'll come on 1900 or 2000 hours, depending what time Fatu will be on. And my talking point would be the army, the stabilization force, the urgency of a stabilization force, our cooperation with Senegal, and future integration, cooperation with Senegal now and the future integration. The urgency, as I said, would be disarmament, encampment, restructuring the armed forces, reforming the armed forces, based on a comprehensive national defense strategy review. And this would be my talking point, unless we have something more urgent coming on. Because the reason why is, yesterday, the 30th day, the commemoration, we have a panel, and obviously time didn't give justice to the topic we meant to discuss. And I will welcome, anybody that have a point to make. And the other reason I'm pointing out to Senegal is our relationship with Senegal, our cooperation with Senegal, and our future integration with Senegal is the importance of this subject. The importance of this subject. And I have seen people I would think to be academics within us discussing this point. And I think they've been nationalistic, but or they lack in the history of the Gambia or of Senegambia or Africa, not to see the perspective, not to be nationalistic or narrow-minded about our relation with Senegal, not to take this personal. And this is the reason I'm very passionate about my relationship with Africa, not Senegal for that matter, but Senegal being the starting block. And based on the education I have from Dr. Jegan Senghor, and if any Gambian, and that Dr. Jegan Senghor, 1954 to 1994, I think it should be a part of the Gambian curriculum. We would put something in the Gambianness of us, or Senegambianness of us. If we go to the Dr. Jegan Senghor, History of Integration or Independence, Gambia and Senegal. And further, there's another follow-up, the further integration Gambia, further integration of the ECOWAS countries, and that's another material that we're looking at. And yes, this is the point that I would really not want us to look at. And there's another coded word. I know some people are shying away from using the word Senegal. I would use Senegal. For basic reason, knowing that strategically there's nothing, and there's no better country to be in the midst of things with us than Senegal. They have everything at the text, and I will elaborate more in that program on Tuesday, inshallah. Now the coded word is ECOWAS or ECOMOG. But I'll tell you, ECOWAS cannot do anything without Senegal. And I'm not even talking about intervention at the midst of taking out Yaya. No, I'm talking about the way forward. How to help us to stabilize, how to help us to restructure, how to help us to do the things. And I will just point out, before to give pointers to certain people, if anyone want to look at the history of Africa, the military history of Africa, this only such a story of in Africa is Senegal, and in West Africa is Morocco, in North Africa, and it's Kenya, and in East Africa. South Africa is hard to gauge because of the history of apartheid and the young independence they gain. But I mean, looking at the three cardinal points here, I mean, Senegal is a success story. It's the only success story in West Africa, not Nigeria, not Ghana. I mean, and looking at the culture, because cultural perspective and the geopolitics and of everything, it's important to put that into consideration when we're thinking of who can help us transform, who can help us reform. Or they say, yes, the doctrine might be different, but the culture is more important than doctrine. I mean, what Senegal did is they took the French doctrine and put a Senegalese psyche in it, which is important, which was one of the lacking in our strategic defense review when we had the army in 83, because we just took part of the, tried to be a British soldiers in a Gambian perspective, and we didn't put the Gambianness in it. We didn't look at it that way. I think that's why I said we need a comprehensive review on this thing. And Morocco, we have this success story of Morocco. They have dealt with separatism within Western Sahara. They have kept a traditional monarchy, and they have evolved to have up to now even the governance of having a prime minister and progressing and into this. And yes, when we talk about it, look, who doesn't have an interest? Senegal have an interest, but we have an interest too. And who said that? Who think that Senegal can bully us, or any other country can bully any other country? Or Senegal is stupid enough thinking that they can have anything and not earn it legally, because they know what that means. Just ask the British. In any agreement you sign internationally, you have a clause, get out clause. The Article 50 was put in the thing, and it's going to be democratic. What the cooperation we have it now, it's a mutual interest. Don't think that Senegal is not having anything in this cooperation. We might say, oh, why would Senegal want to sacrifice their resources, their men, into Gambia just to help us settle? No. Gambia been settled stable, is Senegal been settled stable. Gambia been developed, is Senegal been developed. They have an interest, and we have an interest too. But in the future, this is how the world is. It's a globalized market. And look at our geography. And look at, Gambia don't have a market. We have to look at the economics of things and everything. Let's just not be the sentimental in this. Jawara had said it. Yes, it can be possible if we do it right, but we have to keep our Gambian identity. And it's possible to have an identity, a Gambian identity. And let us not be thinking that we are not sophisticated enough to start something. If it's have never been tried in the world, who said that Senegambia cannot be an example of the world? When two countries come together of different colonies, but of the same culture, and able to coexist, cooperate, and evolve into a confederation, a federation, and a united front, and that might even evolve and make other countries this thing, the whole of West Africa. And then start to be the building block. Who said that we can do it? Why can't we take the challenge? Why can't we take the challenge? It's a mutual interest. It's democratic. Senegal knows that they cannot do anything internationally, without it being democratic. They cannot enforce anything on us without it being democratic or internationally accepted. They cannot even push boundaries without being accepted by us or taken to the international tribunals. We have pending. Let's not forget, we have pending boundaries dispute with Senegal. We already within the Casamas, but within these waters of the Gambia and Senegal. And those boundaries have division. They are not only artificial boundaries, or they are not only land boundaries, but they are boundaries that suspect of containing mineral resources. Because that's why it's important to have the right government and have the right competency. And let's not forget, the diaspora, we have what it takes to partner, the government on the ground. And we can challenge, with the diaspora and the government on the ground, we can challenge any international government, any government in this land, and be treated rightly. It's because of what Jammeh put in there. That's why we have never been taken seriously. But I have hope. I have confidence that Gambia, we can be on top of this map. I have confidence that with the diaspora and the Gambians on the ground, we can transform Gambia, and we'll have a country that will be envy of this of Africa. We can do it. We can, and I will say it, and I will point it out again. based on the hope and what I've seen from the youths of Gambia, the aspirations, the language I've had recently coming from the Gambian youths, the hashtag Gambia group and other groups. I am hopeful. Yes, I had my fears and my worries and my anxieties and everything, but I have hope. And I hope in what? The people of the Gambia. I have hope. What? Because our parents had hope in us. That's why we have hope in ourselves and we have hope in our people that Gambia can go forward. Gambia forward, backwards never. Thank you, guys.